will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin.
Boo, your stream will begin right now. What's up, everybody? How you doing this morning? Whew. Sorry, trying to get our starts in here right before the 8 o'clock moment. Get our hour in. How's everybody doing today? All right. Let me catch up on this chat. Good morning, good morning. So, what a week last week was, huh? Hot tips. We don't do any hot tips around here, bro. This is a Learn to Fish station. This is a station with a smarter audience. That's what we do here. We don't just fucking say some shit that people have no idea what we're saying. We try to create a smarter audience, so our audience has a higher utility of the content that's on this network. So I hope you guys been enjoying it. We've been trying to keep up with this slightly more active streaming schedule. Us old folks got to get our beauty sleep in and shit. But I saw last week was a blowout week in our channels, outside channels on Instagram, like everywhere. So that was pretty fucking fire. Can we look at some of these? Yeah, this is since this will pop up here. This was just 3 days from all the various Discords we have. We have many. In my house, there are many rooms. Instagram, people DM this stuff. Viewers who are watching. This dude right here said he doubled his portfolio in 2 weeks. I don't know who this is, but that's pretty badass to get a message like that from people just watching the show. That's what good market TV should do for you. It should help you fucking kick some ass, right? It shouldn't make your plays for you. It's not a hot tip network. It should just give you information and perspective that helps you make better choices than the next guy who doesn't have access to the same content. That's the point. But this is a fucking amazing fucking 3 days. just raining fucking plays coming out of everywhere and every fucking corner of the ecosystem. That's what it's about, right? Accurate, timely information that helps you make more informed choices. Not somebody telling you, all of you FOMO this, all of you FOMO that. That shit gets people killed. There's a reason that, that shit doesn't work. We like to see our viewers, be able to take the information here and make choices on their own. That allows you to be the value in an ecosystem rather than be, part of a herd that will get you fucking slaughtered. And that's what most of these TV networks, for market information do. They just market you what you want to hear, what's easiest to sell most people. And making a smarter audience is definitely not the easier path to go, but that's the only way you're going to have this many fucking people win all together. is if they all can make their own choices without being sheep, following each other into the same thing. If you notice right here, right, it's an even distribution of fucking like anything and everything. These guys are in stocks, they're in crypto, they're in options, they're in link over here, perp, fucking Microsoft, all kinds of good stuff, you know, just from watching the show, paying attention to what's in motion in the markets, and we're gonna do some more of that today. Very good to see though, very good to see. Definitely some kick-ass stuff. So, like that, let's do some more of that this week. Let's see what's moved last week. We talked about some things where the markets were at highs, not to doubt it, and it came in right away. Let's see, where are we at? Friday was dope. Yeah, Friday was pretty crazy. You guys got no questions? Everybody's so fucking loaded. Nobody's got anything to ask. Remember, after your biggest gains come your biggest losses. So if you're feeling kind of overconfident, that's probably a good reason to take a step back. The wins have been amazing. Everyone's winning in all different trades. Don't jinx us, buddy. Don't jinx us. Let's see. Weed stonks, Tezos. We looked at Tezos last time. We'll cover crypto lightly. We're gonna look at some what's going on in the market, stock market right now. Yeah, let's get it this week, Peps. Let's see what's popping. So okay, I think I covered everything there. I didn't see anything crazy question-wise. Take a look at some of what we've been pointing at for the last couple weeks here in shows. We will look at. This was Link BTC, and I gave you guys a alert low for this guy right up here where that blue line was. So if you guys pay attention to that one, that's why you learn to be patient, right? You don't have to chase this guy around all fucking year. You play where the biggest, reward is the fastest. Bull markets are where you want to be. You get paid right away when you're in those things. You don't have to sit there talking about how right you're going to be. Gotta hodl until it happens. Those are idiots. Those are crypto morons who sit there fucking getting run over, by a bear market, talking about when it's going to be and when they're going to be so right. And more intelligent people time things and don't sit there like a fucking idiot and just get steamrolled. Stop out, and when it's a good time, you come back. This guy, we looked at him right here. We saw he had a nice little uptrend underneath underneath this low side of the shockwave, and all you have to do is kill what? These levels we show you, right? You got the highest high, got your lower high. If this is going to be a downtrend, it's not confirmed, right? When it's the second one, could be, and you have them stepping up. Shockwave is a narrowing range, right? Shockwave is a narrowing range that is going to leave one way or the other. Oh man, clean missed that one. I got this. And so in this situation up here, same thing, right? We had that level to watch, and then this level, and either it's going to become a downtrend and we're going to crash, or he's going to fucking moon pump back through it. So it became the level to watch, right? That level became the one you wanted to watch. Same like this guy would have been. Just when he's blowing out of here, he'd blow out of it. If he's going to take it out, he'd blow out real hard. So same reason why we alerted this guy. So for you guys that caught rides on Link, I got a lot of DMs back from people who found their way into different parts of that wave, multiple stages of it. It's really good shit. Somebody asked about Tezos. And this was, we drew this up too, same thing. He was a lagger. Link is the stronger one of all of them. Link Army's fucking crazy. These are all the ones that we watch. We've shown these many times throughout the year. Gave you a good barometer and things right now. Adam had a good move out of the base. If there's going to be any shitcoin strength, these are the three projects that are pretty liquid and pretty big that we thought were pretty good ones to keep your eyes on, and they've proven to be true. B&B, still waiting for some life in that guy. He's starting to show some. We kind of showed you how to watch this. That level right there for his shockwave, that was like BTCs. Either he's going to get out to it and go ahead and put it onto this this angle here and then see what he does. That's in the USD market though. The big action obviously of the week in crypto was fucking Link, so this was pretty dope. So he's kind of moon pumped out, and you want to see if, with him pumped out like that, a bit of a stall to him. I saw some FOMO in the morning from a couple of idiot indicators in crypto that just decided to buy this thing. So it's usually, a good warning sign. There might be something else in crypto moving right now. But with a parabolic like this, it's likely chill time over here. And with everybody's eyes in crypto zeroed in on this stuff, probably a good time to pay attention to what's going on in other markets, right? So gave you guys a little lesson on how not to let yourself get mind fucked by a parabolic move. Remember that? That lesson come in handy or what? Quick. So I saw some crazy shit from the room. I saw 80xers, 70xers in Tesla. And this is what we're talking about, right? This arc over here, we talked about it. When there's an arc like this, it can psychologically fuck you up, right? That the highest point you see on the chart is just too high to fucking play. And hindsight TA will make people tell themselves about what they could have done in the past as if that fucking matters. Any minute now. Is this thing just stuck on? Okay. So when you look at this, right, you see a stock going from 175 to 575, right? Who in their right mind would want to buy something that's up fucking 3x? It looks crazy. But this is the nature of a linear scale chart and the way it psychologically fucks with you. If this is the highest point on the chart, then it's everything is relative to this high. But in the future, if this becomes a lower point, then the chart will skew and you will think psychologically the same thing at twice the price. It just will always look like the worst thing you've ever saw if you look in hindsight that way. So in talking about that, looking at it, right, you could totally leave a setup for you to completely go out, and you've got to be willing to play it. In bull markets, most people cannot buy the continuation. That's why bull markets get away from so many people and trap them at the highs. They sit there and let the whole thing leave them because they need it to crash for them to feel better about themselves. That's why everybody's crying on TV now, right, that the stock market doesn't make sense just because they're not in it. And that's one of the big tells we told you to watch out for. So we had this arc up to this area here, and we will come down to 30, I guess. So this is the perfect setup. I told you, if you see this setup again, right, you got to play it if it leaves. Tesla is now what? Fucking how much higher than Friday's close? Almost 100 fucking points again. That's the way bull markets are. You don't want to be the dummy that's calling the top. How many of the crypto plebs you see again try to call the top of Tesla last week? Get run over like a freight train. Those dummies have been doing that ever since I came into the market. That's what makes them so salty, is that they can't get out of the way of their own egos, right? They keep on trying to be the guy who can find one candle in 1,000. That's a moron. The worst part is they leave 50, 60,000 of their followers off the same cliff over and over and over again, and their followers are so fucking stupid, they don't recognize they're being led around by an idiot. So it's just a fucking circle of stupid. But you need to have that out there because that's what gets us paid, is those idiots constantly doing dumb shit like that and not being on our side of the equation. So this is why you don't call tops. You will look like a fucking idiot. You might get it right eventually, but after the 99 misses you'll take trying to pull it off, you will fucking be fried. And so will anybody else who fucking dare listen to you. Don't call tops. That's fucking stupid. It'll get you fucked up, guaranteed. Today's high can be tomorrow's low. Never forget that. Amazon. So these are a lot of the guys that were on our watch. I hope you guys found your ways into them, right? They're the same thing, right? That arc up to a consolidation, they can arc again. Right? It can arc up to a consolidation that does nothing, and if it does nothing, cool. Don't do shit. See it? You don't have to do shit. Let it pass. Then do shit. So a lot of these guys are still sticking out. Like we told you, so goes Apple. So goes the market. Apple is doing his crazy shit. Let's see where he is pre-market right now. Yeah, he's up a little bit more. We'll zoom out on him. And we had our shockwave on him. He broke out. He tested the top of it. And we pointed all these out. So these guys are still in motion with, most people with their thumbs in their asses waiting for a crash. By the time that they decide they got to buy this thing, that's when we need to be cautious that it's likely too late. So trend's your friend. Trend's still in motion, and most people can't fucking deal with it. So the right level of frustration's in the air right now. As it becomes kind of a reality that we're not going to see a fucking cure in any meaningful amount of time. I know there's some news this morning about this guy getting a fast track with Pfizer, Myrna, one of his drugs right now. See if he's doing anything right now. So that could still become something actually to the upside, but needs time to sort itself out. The kind of promise that a drug is coming is kind of like the hype that blockchain's about to take over the world. It's kind of like the load of shit you keep telling everybody just so they don't sell your fucking shitty coin. The reality is, if you think about 1912, sorry, not 1912, 1918, 1920, the Spanish flu. We talked about this a few shows ago. Let me go back here. Tell you, this guy looks bullish as fuck, don't he? Nobody wants to believe it. Oh, we'll need some way more time for this. Let's look at something. I'm going to go all over the place, but don't worry. This will make sense when I'm done. It always does, I think. I hope. All right, so this chart's pretty cool because it can take us all the way back into time to the Spanish flu. So we don't have the highest resolution on this thing, but we do have back here in late 1917 is when the Spanish flu emerged. Going into 18. The Spanish flu was a thing for like till about 20. 3-month increments, so bear with me. And that's really the period the Spanish flu occupies. You come directly out of this into the roaring 20s. And think about it right now, right? If you think about any of the history of the roaring 20s, you can't really see any trace of the anxiety about wearing masks and stuff lingering into that era. You know, by the time the roaring 20s gets underway, this is already a long forgotten memory. And somewhere along the lines, we're going to have to go from everybody freaking out about being coughed on to a society that booms again, and how that transition gets made, you know, and what happens to the people who are all freaking out about Spanish flu when this emerges. Right now, you know, you kind of see the realities of it, like the population is not agreeing with any kind of controls. China was able to weld people into buildings and that couldn't stop them. You're not stopping this by making people stay home. You know, the only thing that's going to happen is, there's Cryptolaris, respect on the bits, is that people are going to push through it. It's kind of like, what was that guy, Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park? Life kind of finds a way. Life won't be denied. And so people have already decided to say, fuck this. And whatever the damage is that this thing causes, whether they can be infected a second time, people are already deciding not to cooperate. And so they're going to go ahead and push through this. And, you know, we're already on to the new normal of life after COVID, even though it's still here and we're looking at a second wave that could be, you know, far worse. You're already entering the life after COVID psychologically for people. The getting everyone to stay home and fully shut in like March is likely not going to happen twice in the United States. So you have to deal with life after COVID, and either COVID is going to be the fucking virus that kills the entire planet, or we're going to emerge from this stronger than, you know, the previous, from like every other pandemic. If that's the case, then life after COVID looks probably something like life after Spanish flu, which I think is going to be the space cash era for us today. So let's say COVID lingers around, you know, through the election, through next year, in just 2 years. Oof, this chart's getting messy. The box range I've drawn on there is actually too big for COVID, right? COVID starts right here. And if he was to linger 2 years, he'd be right out to here. I think already that the transition's already happened, you know. If COVID's not going to be the disease that kills all of mankind, then mankind evolves through this and population keeps growing. And we see a life after COVID and people return to a normal way of living without a mask on. Ultimately in the 20s, they got back to a place where there's no mask on. And that's where they're pushing to right now. They refuse to wear it. So you're going to get to a place where this becomes, you know, the H1N1 of this era, and it becomes just part of the disease basket that we deal with going on into the future. That being said, there's still rotations in the economy around the new normals that the economy has to function by at this time until you can kind of go back to things like cruises and shopping malls and all that stuff. But for the time being, life is finding a way, and life is finding a way in markets around most people's common sensibilities. Any questions in there? You guys doing all right? Just covering some stuff. Let's see. Let me catch up on here if you guys ask anything. All right, I'm just catching up to see if you guys have questions. One second. Somebody asked about weed. We already looked at XTZ. Earnings season in full effect. Yeah, there's a lot of earnings coming out, a lot of financials this week. Definitely keep your eyes on that. Should generate some volatility. The fact that people are trying to revise earnings down to where they think it could be right now likely means a lot of analysts are going to be really far off of their estimates, because it's going to be really hard to gauge this kind of impact this fast. So you have a lot of room for missed estimates, even though the estimates are lowered to reflect this current, moment. It's going to be pretty hard to guess just how bad the damage is for a lot of fucking analysts. So you're going to see a lot of dispersion in the analyst, estimates, and you're going to see a lot of misses, like really widely. So it'll generate a lot of volatility. Saw a chart on your social that human pop went from 1.5 billion to 7 billion. Meantime, Dow pumped as fuck. Is that human growth sustainable? We just talked about parabolics when I talked about Tesla. You don't want to call the top of it, right? Because how far is too far? That 1.5 billion could go to 16 billion. And the person that looking at 16 billion would say the same thing as the guy at 7, at 5, and at 4. That's the nature of parabolic arcs, right? The only time you really recognize the arc is over is in hindsight. Semis, yeah, we'll talk about semis. We were talked about this before. People going on vacation, fuck COVID. And not going over nodes and anti-nodes when there's no context to going over that for the fourth fucking time you've asked the same fucking question. We can talk about that in Discord if you haven't gotten the fucking message already. Jesus Christ. What will that do for you? A buzzword, node, and anti-node, will that really help you? You have no idea what context that fits into energy, but you're just going to keep asking on every show. So we'll talk about it in Discord. Shitty earnings should give us another panic sell lined up with some more Corona FUD. I mean, shitty earnings is all relative, right? All the earnings is going to be shitty, but since you have lowered expectations, you can have an upside surprise to lowered expectations. That's kind of the thing that we trade in markets, right? Is not your idea of what good earnings are or bad earnings are, but the surprise, from the expected earnings. And the differential is that the crowd, beliefs are with regard to what the realities are. That's what we trade. We trade perception arbitrage. There is no benchmark of good or bad. When you say good and bad earnings, or good companies and bad companies, good projects, bad projects, it's a very subjective point of view. So you don't want to get into that habit, right? If the earnings get lowered off a cliff because everybody's going to fucking do horrible because of COVID, and then the company comes in and beats the lowered earnings by fucking like upside by 10 to 15%, there's going to be an upside pop to the stock because the analysts have overdone the reduction. So you're trading on expectations of forward earnings, so it's very different to say that bad earnings will make things go down. That's really that lacks context. When drawing a shockwave in an up down trend, when do you get into the play? What are the confirmations you look for on the time frame? We've gone over that many shows. If you looked at Link, I'm showing you where Link was a trigger just now. If you pay attention to the early part of the show, did you watch that? I literally just showed you where the alert level for Link was. You guys got to pay attention if you're watching the show. I literally go over some of the stuff and then you ask me the question right after I fucking do it. It cracks me up. The Legend, 1,000 bits. Respect, homie. Appreciate you. Had your best week in 3 years. That's what's up, BTC Booger. Good shit, dude. I'm happy to hear that. Kaz, for new members, what's the way to access the Discord chat rooms where you can study with others? So I drop links to that every once in a while. As you saw, if you watch any of the past shows that we've done, I've dropped a link for Telegram almost at the end of every single show for a good portion of this year. And man, were the trolls fucking relentless. So we had the room get up to about 500 people twice, and I deleted both of them because it became just a disproportionate amount of assholes to people that actually came to learn. I don't actually make those rooms to have thousands and thousands of endless idiots to sit in there and spam like shitcoins to one another. Our rooms are all about participation. So when I open that link and like 60 of you hit it and 3 of you talk, I delete the entire channel. That's not why we open it. We don't do lurkers. We don't give a shit if there's 5 people in our channel. If we put a link out and you show up and say hi and don't do shit else, we'll delete you. And that's pretty much been the norm for the freemium channels that we do tied to the station. Guys just come in there and don't do shit and expect money to pop out. Go to any of those spam channels that want to like, sell you some stupid indicator. We are a do, learn and do channel. And everybody has to be active. So if you come into my network and you don't do shit, you'll be back out in a week. So after 3 different free rooms that we did for the year, we got like endless versions of that. I think we've got like 6 active traders out of like fucking over 1,000 people I let into those rooms. And we shit canned the rest of the channels. So unlike most of your learn to trade channels that copied what we do back in 2014 and tried to like get as many of you into the channel as possible so they can charge you a fee, we don't do that. I use the channels I have, the public channels, to basically gain sentiment from the people who know nothing about what we do, talking to you about what you think about markets, and then I educate you about the things you don't know. And in the process of talking to you, I gain insights into the shit you don't know, so I know where to look. So we use it as a feedback mechanism to keep us in the right direction. Just like in these shows, we use the questions you have to help us understand where you're looking or not looking, and then show you things you should look at. So it works symbiotically. That's the main point of it. As far as like hands-on training people directly, I do those kind of classes like once to twice a fucking year. And I'm backed up for people who want to do email applications from my site like all the way into 2018. So this is the best option for me to show lots of people interesting viewpoints that can help you in the marketplace. And the only thing that we require here is participate. Pay attention, ask a question. If we open a channel, at least read and watch the show long enough to see the hyperlink that goes by to let you in the channel. Many of you that are on Facebook that told me, hey, we follow you for years, and like, how do I get in your channel? The second you say that to me, I know you're lying to me, right? As I post a link all over the fucking place, in Instagram, in the show, all over the place, and then you tell me, I've been following you for 2 years. How do I get in your channel? Been on the fucking like social platform the entire fucking time. At this moment, we do not have an access to Twitter, Discord. We will probably do another Telegram room and in there vet a few people that want to make a group and then pull you out and then delete the channel again. We're not going to keep standing Telegram channels anymore. It's just a haven for people that want to do nothing, and I personally can't stand that shit. So when I do another Telegram, if you get in there and you don't do anything, it'll be deleted. We will only deal with the people that like are active, and we'll pull you out. We'll bring you to Discord, set you up, help you like get started organizing yourselves to do some research. And that's what we want to see. Just being active is already a habit most people don't have. Like just making a fucking effort, most people will not do that. We had a pinned message at the top of Telegram. Please read these links, which will tell you all the shit you want to know about price structure, about psychology, everything. I could not make 500 fucking people coming in from this show read that shit if I fucking took a baseball bat to them. It's a free room. All they had to do is read it. It was all of the instructions you wanted for all of this shit you could ever have dreamed about for free. I did it 3 times. I swear to you, we pulled like 6 traders out of that for a half of a fucking year that actually sat down and read it all and didn't ask some stupid shit right afterwards that proved they couldn't read even a fucking paragraph. There's a real problem with laziness, and most people are that guy. You don't have to like fucking run into anything. This ecosystem we have, what's on the website, what's on the social platforms, will all help you if you take just a minute of your time and go take yourself to read it. That's all you actually have to do. All the folks you see in these messages are trained off stuff that's public. All my work is public. That's the big joke of it. I look like an idiot, but I put the shit that would answer all your questions about the market everywhere publicly to watch you walk past it. That's the big inside joke of like, bias is a killer. It'll blind you to shit that's hidden in plain sight. All my work's hidden in plain sight. I didn't actually hide anything. So if you take a little bit of time, everything you ever wanted to answer your questions is actually sitting somewhere on one of my platforms. All right, so that's a memo. So I still think Branson is on point. What would have changed since last week? Primark refused to take government money for employee retention. Huge amount. Any thought on this? Not really. People that took the money, cheap government money, it's an intelligent business move. Nothing wrong with it. Anybody shaming large corporations for taking cheap government money are probably broke people, and that's why they're broke, because they don't know a good opportunity when they see one. Yeah, I have a Facebook group. You go there. There's stuff in there. There's stuff everywhere. I don't leave it in one place. You can go all over the place. Corona flood with a lockdown coming next month or so, and all opened up for Xmas shopping. Just one of my thoughts. I don't know if Xmas shopping has to begin in the summer just now or not. I think we don't have a problem shopping with online retail. Ixodar, respect on the bits, homie. If you want to read those links, they're actually in my Insta too. If you go looking through the posts, I link all kinds of shit in the text in my post that nobody ever reads. Don't skim read, right? Read it all. There's stuff in there, people zip right through it, then catch a half of fucking nothing. All my calls are public. That's right, Fractal Owl. Alright, so let's look at some other stuff over here on the chart. Caught up with them there. So semis, we talked about semis, keeping your eyes on these guys. Some other stocks that are moving right now. We've seen what's pushed out. Tesla's pushed out, Amazon's pushed out, Shop, a bunch of those guys. And we're waiting on semis. Semis had been the guys that had been leading the tech boom, and they're meandering their way out right now. What am I on? Daily, right? So we've been watching this guy since he's up here, right? Challenging this high, did a shockwave, tell you what to watch for, did his flag, and he's pushed out. So semis look good. Now up 2%. That's what we told you to pay attention to. They would probably likely catch a rotation. So they're coming from behind now after we had our antisocial guys kind of lead us out the top. So this is what was expected. We're kind of just, I guess, holding your hand as we walk through this, right? And NVIDIA, he didn't flag much. He just fucking left right out of the building. But so if you guys are paying attention to this too, you should be on top of this also. Semis are the next thing we thought could come back on into alignment as we rotated away from social to antisocial, and they're doing it. They're doing exactly what we thought they should do. So right now we're watching AMD, see where he's at. He's lagging a little bit. Moves out of phase a lot with NVIDIA, but these two guys, are definitely your two main dudes to pay attention to into semis. AMAT, another good one over there. I know there's a big deal this morning. I believe it's Marvel is being bought this morning. Is it Marvel Technology is being bought? Somebody got bought this morning. But that's going to put some more strength under semis. I'm not sure if it's them or not. It's not Marvel. Somebody else. But yeah, all the semis look good. And keeping track of some other guys too. Let's see, XHB. Where is this? Yeah, home builders. Interestingly enough, right, if people are not going to back the fuck off of COVID and we're just going to go full steam ahead, fuck it, whoever gets infected, damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, then there's some guys in home builders, I have my ear to real estate still. I still have a lot of friends in that marketplace. Let's call them associates, since most people I worked with in real estate weren't really friends, were shitheads. But, associates. We'll call them that. If you're watching this show, you know who you are, dickhead. SHB. So Home Depot, home improvement. So I actually passed through one of these things the other day because my son's killing me to get a pizza, and I dared to go to a pizza place that I trust. And Home Depot looks like there's never been a recession. The parking lot is fucking wall to wall. It looks ridiculous. It looks like any boom time renovating that I've ever seen in the parking lot of that place. It was just stunning. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm only looking at the Home Depot in Central Florida where I live, but it's a good barometer. We got Florida man who doesn't care about disease and all that, but This is a healthy looking chart at all time highs right now, the way he's chopping. And if you think about what we just saw in semis, right, this looks kind of like he might be running right behind semis, kind of in a similar setup, right? Chops the fucking high, fucks everybody up who tries to buy the breakout, shockwaves on that, and then blows out again. This setup is there for that to happen. He's not out of it yet, but he looks pretty good. Other guys in his space, he's home improvement, I mean, but home everything looks good. Lennar, some of these guys, these are really healthy looking box ranges and shockwaves these guys have in them. So you're seeing some of now what this is definitely part of the social side of the economy, and to see it like have this kind of strength in this market, this kind of resilience is pretty stunning, right? With what's happened to like cruise lines and shit like that. But this guy looks good. He gets above there. He could go for it. Let's see. How to brain fart. I just forgot Pulte Simple. What the fuck? That's weird. Anyways, so he's a little bit lower down in it. Lowe's, which is the competitor to Home Depot. This guy's looking pretty stunning. People, if they're stuck in their houses, are going to spend money on the place they're stuck in. Not just that, but people renovating and flipping hasn't really backed off either. So home improvement is actually, think about it. I'm stuck in my house like crazy. I bought all kinds of shit I never thought I'd ever buy. I'm like, Betty Crocker over here fucking making all kinds of dinners and shit like that. You have to figure shit out once you're stuck at your home more. And just to make your place look better, right? So this is probably the first sign of life in social is make my home look better. And it's not necessarily social so much as that you got to go be social to go shop in these stores. But this is going to be about like improving your quality of life where you're stuck at more now, and you've had more time to think about being home a lot more. So this is kind of like the fundamentals around that is people are willing to spend on home. So these charts look pretty fucking epic up at the top, and like we said, don't call it tops. It's parabolic as shit coming out of the trench, but it still looks good. And as long as the market keeps pushing and people keep being salty, you're right, the fuel's under this thing. This thing looks like there was no fucking COVID. Let's zoom out. Yeah, I don't think I gotta point much to that one, right? How much help do you need with this one? You guys got this one, right? This one's not hard. Ta-da! Goes above that. Probably looks good if he stays above it. Stays above it. Key thing, right? So that looks good. Home Depot looks good. A couple of these home guys look pretty interesting. So still a lot of strength in the marketplace overall. Let me come back and see if you guys have any questions on anything else. The VIX is still working its way down ever so slightly. Very interesting to see the market have some positive upside to it with the VIX having any upside at the same time. Generally don't want to see that. Here's our bear flag we were looking at to see if he could finish rolling out of this thing and head south and really gas the market. So he's tried for it, hasn't done it yet, has extended a little longer than I drew the lines for. But ultimately we're just looking for this guy. It's a crude drawing, but you get the idea. All right, where you guys at? So I'm actually doing good on time. I've covered a bunch of shit. Let's see. Okay, I'm catching up. Where are you guys at? HD booming out west. Yeah, Home Depot is fucking. It's got a religious following, man. Yeah, it's Maxim. That's right. Maxim got bought, not Marvel. Correct. Where are the public calls available? How did you get on this station and not know where the site is with all my stuff on it? That's like crazy. And yeah, the nuggets for sure, right? There's all kinds of stuff like on Instagram. I leave stuff everywhere. I try not to post too many things. I post a joke here and there, but for the most part, I don't post something unless it has a point. And there is always Google. Yeah, there is always that. Let's see, catching up. Can't keep the economy closed for too long. Yeah, that's also true. Well, everyone work from home that can work from home. Remember, in America, we said 74% of American households are check to check, right? So the capacity to work from home is not really there for everyone, but for those who are going to work from home, yeah, it's your home office. you're going to put something into it. You're home with your kids extended periods right now when your kids pulled out of school. Um, you just have to look at your home a lot longer and make some decisions about it. So that's there in everybody's mind. HD and Lowe's is boomer catnip. Why you gotta say it like that, son? Young people like their houses to look good too. BTC Booger, the average family spends 6K a year on vacations. This year they're spending that money on home improvements. Probably not that far-fetched. Can't say that exact number, I can confirm it, but yes, there's definitely going to be some rotation from like what you were going to spend going all over the country to, just putting into your house. Yeah, pool companies, right. People, contractors I know here that are renovating houses are fully fucking backed up on work anyway. Like, it's not stopping. Which obviously, if you have contractors sweating in 90-degree sun in Florida, we are not done seeing COVID explosions. Activision, yeah. We talked about gaming already, so hopefully you can pay attention to that. Those guys have been strong. Can I look at IRBT? What's IRBT? IRBT. Is that iRobot? Yeah, I know iRobot. So as much as I think robotics is pretty kick-ass, I know iRobot, right? And this guy's been bouncing back. What did you want me to tell you about this guy? He's in a moon rip. He's not really on my radar. Had a good bounce though. Like much of everything else, he came down to a pretty good area too. Bounced out of this shockwave. See what he looks like on weekly. I mean, he's a little moon pumped out right now, and he's heading into a lot of congestion. Probably nothing I would like stick on my radar of have tos right now. But he definitely enjoyed a hell of a bounce from the bottom. So if you're in this one, that was a good play. He might fit into the automated future a bit more, and people becoming lazier and doing less. This guy makes the vacuum cleaners that run around your house and don't fucking clean shit. Because trust me, I have one of those fucking things and I want to fling it right out the fucking door. So iRobot won't be getting my business twice, put it that way. It's definitely not an iPhone. That much I know about this company, right? So I don't have anything I can really tell you more than that about it. He's in an uptrend. He looks decent here, but he's in a huge gap. That looks kind of sus. Talk about a gap fill. That's the mother of all gap fills right there. Look at that. Now that we're down in this resolution, we can see it. Let's see, the perfectly gap fill that? Almost perfect gap fill. I would say that would be your line in the sand to pay attention to him if he's going to do anything. Probably counterwaves back through this gap a little bit, and then before he has another reasonable push you want to trust that much, he probably has to clear this gap again, and then he can go do that gap fill up there. If the marquee's pushing, he'll probably drag this guy through. But like I said, this isn't somebody on my top of the list to watch. Do I have a garden? Dude, I literally just learned how to cook more than 3 things. Gardening is the next thing I'm working on, but yeah, not yet. Papa John's. Papa. So pizza's been some fucking crazy shit, huh? That's not it. That's the wrong one. You gave me the wrong symbol there. Papa John's. So Papa John's and Domino's actually look pretty fucking amazing. This guy looks good. Shaq is involved in the turnaround of this company since the ouster of their crazy racist CEO. But Papa John's actually looks remarkable. Again, you have this kind of setup at all-time highs. Always be careful of that. But if he escapes this, structurally, he looks like he can keep on running, Shaq might be part of the turnaround play of the century there. That's the all-time high. Well, I'm off a little bit. Let's mark that. There you go. You right there. And go down to an hour. Well, at that resolution, it looks good to probably put in a bar through the fucking all-time high. Always want to watch how price leaves all-time highs, right? A lot of people get wicked into things like this. They think it's going to leave them behind, and that's why you see that big chop you see in Home Depot and Apple. You can bar through it and completely leave. That does happen, but there's a better chance that he goes through it. And Swiss cheese is people who think that and then goes and takes off afterwards. But in this structure right now, this res, he could put a stick through it. And he can go a ways through before he comes back. So I'm not going to tell you that he has to stop at the all-time high. Structurally, this looks great. Oh my god. Fucking freehand line drawing is just out the fucking window lately. Alright. It's got his rising floors in. You see it is high, low. This high actually just barely leads to a new high here, and then a higher low, and then he's got a break on it. So he's got good structure. He keeps pushing. I don't know if this side of the market's the strongest thing in the world right now. Restaurants and like takeout, like bring food home with Corona on it, is part of like social, and is probably going to take longer to have real strength under it. Even if it's trending up, it's just not trending up with the kind of gas that you've seen already. And it can get stronger as like the realization that we're going to go back to like normal life, sets into people. But I think restaurants are probably like your lagging space, that'll take the greatest amount of time past the Rona explosion to turn normal again. Because I can pretty much tell you, I'm not going to have anyone deliver a pizza to me or anything like that. I'm going to have it made fresh in my face and like take it, not in anybody's car that's going to like 15 houses. So I think like, restaurants that deliver, Uber Eats, things like that, those things will continue to suffer as there is still some apprehension about getting your food sent to you by God knows who. But this stock does look pretty damn good. Domino's, also pretty amazing. Super strong. Been paying attention to this one for a while. Who knew shitty pizza could fucking sell so well, right? But Domino's is clean break of the highs right now, and these guys are massively, massively off the radar. No one is looking at them at all. Just to think about it, like from the beginning of the year, right? Domino's has almost fucking doubled. Not really, not exactly, but from here, talking 280 down to the lows of the year, 270, pushing 400 right now. Probably will see a double before the year is done. And gone by without anybody really noticing what the fuck at all is happening with these guys. So if Papa John's is anything like this, he might have room to run behind Domino's. Pretty interesting ones, and the more we go back to a normal structure of society and away from like the thought that lockdowns are coming back, the better these guys get. As soon as people get any comfort in ordering Uber Eats or Grubhub or directly from the restaurant again, these guys get gas. How old am I? Old enough. Old enough to fucking take offense to any boomer jokes. I can't tell my age in my stunningly young attire. What do I think about CCL and RCL? Like I said, they're part of social boats. They're going to take the longest for that side of the market to be better. I know Carnival Cruise Line said that they are going to start, I think, trying to sail in fucking August. And they've got to, right? Because they're fucking choking out right now needing to sell boats. So if they don't start doing something soon, they're in dire straits. They're also not a necessary industry the way airlines is. So they are going to have less support, from the government than airlines do. So if these guys buckle, they'll likely be gobbled up by whoever has any strength in the marketplace. Which is like your stronger guy in the market in cruise lines is RCL. He's probably your financially like most stable of all of them. But they all look like shit, But again, if Disney World just fucking opened up on the weekend and in the middle of like Florida setting records, and Disney is starting to show some signs. He's a social guy too, right? The theme parks are fucked up massively for tourists. All the theme parks in Florida are back up now. So Universal Studios is back up, SeaWorld's back up, and these were the last guys to come back up. They came up on July 11th. So they're functional, and they actually look pretty decent. Here, I'll stop using fucking my crappy freehand. So steep as shit, but like I told you before, right? Some of these guys are down in the dumps. They will have the day to come back. Even airlines, which are necessary industry, they're gonna have the day to come back. Um, these are just steeper, shittier looking versions of what you see in Disney, and they're laggards as much as they are. But these guys will come back when the full realization that like we're going to have that new normal. We're going to have the after Spanish flu era happen to us, and everyone's going to just fucking deal with it. So Disney, I'm pretty stunned that they decided to go ahead and open, even as the numbers are spiking and didn't back off on it. And I'm wondering if the Governor DeSantis is pretty much an idiot, so he likely isn't going to issue another close order. And I think they're just going to force the new normal. We talked about it in the last Black Order. Herd immunity was likely the path, and they don't even know if we can actually do that. But as there's no cure coming, and keeping everything shuttered is going to turn into an apocalypse if you don't do something else, they're just going to go ahead with fucking get sick until we come out with something that does something. And if that's the case, then everything is slowly moving back towards fucking a new normal for a 1920, a roaring 20s style era. So if this is not the end of the human population, everything's about to come back online. Maybe not like overnight, but we're in the process of bringing the country back online. Hey PQ, thanks for throwing out those subs for everybody. You guys check out the replays. We got like 6 shows right now. Cryptic Insight, thanks for the bits, homie. 3 stacks. Got to show some nips. Ixadar also. Appreciate you, sir. Let's see. So Disney is actually interesting down here. Pretty heavy discount off his highs to take him back up there if he's going to stay open and continue going. He's got good strength. I actually had a play on this motherfucker that I'm going to regret not taking over the weekend. But there he goes. So I think behind this, Cruise Lines is weaker than this. They have less visibility in coming back online. So structurally, they're like similar structure, but you can tell it's like a weaker version of the same structure. And then like, stronger structure in the social world that's coming back online, or not back online, but getting more gas to it, then it's like a stronger version of the same structure is the home construction guys, home renovations, and then home builders. So starting to see we see semis already pushing out. We have the e-commerce market that already led things to where they are. And you're kind of seeing like the rotation go across the economy, right? We went from freak out mode to full online sales to then, okay, maybe we can kind of touch on like bringing this back. Maybe we can touch on bringing that back. You know what? We can't shut it back down again. Fuck it. We're going to just deal with this. That's kind of the flow chart of the way we're going to psychologically move through this. And the crowd is going to reach a point where they go, okay, then fuck it. We're all back to where we were before. So kind of that's what I'm seeing right now. Can you look at aerospace and defense? Can you look at defense? Defense is triple leverage. So I think you look at PBW, right? Same thing. Oh, that's weird. No, my bad. God, I'm like brain farting right now. Aerospace defense, XAR. Use that guy instead. So there's aerospace and defense. We did this before. So if you've been watching the shows, we did this already. There's aerospace and defense. He looks a lot like the structure of RCL and CCL, but a little bit stronger. And this is just because all of industrials, got really fucking smashed. Boeing is in this basket, and he's got funding issues with the 737 MAX. And the more problems he has is like the more he's a hamper on things inside that space. But as a whole, aerospace and defenses look like shit, and we want to see these guys come back with space cash. They should be part of this. So looking at this guy, Lockheed's going to have a bottom in here somewhere. As scary as this looks, that's an ejection type move. And I think, I don't think you see Lockheed anywhere near the trenches of March, but this guy's going to be part of it too. And, in the space cash pump, he's going to likely be a lot higher than he is today. I'll put this thing on a... Right, if the space cash pump that we talked about takes us out of this COVID era and takes us just out to my original projection was 2028, 29 even for the Dow to see his targets. You have a lot of time for this chart to just become a lot bigger, and recover from this. When you zoom out to this kind of scale, this throwback right now is going to end. If this market's destined higher, and is like it is, like it's showing us right now, and space cash really is part of the second wave behind COVID, the Black Plague too, then this guy likely recovers. And a lot of dudes on this scale in aerospace and defense play ball with it. But their timing is definitely not right now. These guys all look like just, super fucking asshole right now. But yeah, these guys should stay on your radar. But these are going to be down the line when we see rotations come into that market. And I think we'll be able to catch that here on the show and point you at it when we see it. All right, let's see. What else you got? Time-wise, 8:59. I'm about to wrap this up here in a second. So yeah, things that look kind of interesting right now. Does pizza guys look pretty interesting? Some of the fringes of social look kind of interesting. Semiconductors are in motion. Those builders and home decor guys look pretty fascinating that we see rotation coming to. Some of these dudes over here in like space cash and defense and stuff like that are going to take a little bit more time. Market's going to probably have to get closer to normal risk-seeking activities. Like the VIX is going to come down a little bit deeper, and it's going to have to we have to have a bit better forward visibility, I think, before you see that side of the market catch gas. But seeing Disney start to strengthen up a little bit, and some of the guys that were damaged in the Dow components list that are showing some strength again, I think is a good thing. We want to see Boeing get better. We look at this structure right now. What do you want to chase? Do you want to chase that, or do you want to chase things that are leading? This is why we told you, you follow strength. A lot of people want to chase a guy that's down in the dumps, but why would you do that? You look at things like this. Just think about it. When we drew this first big blue shockwave, Tesla already looked ridiculous, right? In the first arc. Now, how much more ridiculous does he look? There's a reason you want to play strength, right? Things are strong for a reason, and things are also weak for a reason. Boeing is in the dumps for a reason. And chasing these guys because you've got to have the low because you can't play things that are in trend is what most people do. You don't want to have the habits of most people. Most people cannot buy a bull market. Most people are dying to fucking buy this. And does he have something going on? Yeah, we talked about this. The volume build in airlines is fucking epic. Somebody did ask me about weed. CGC is about the only thing that's of any quality names in there. We talked about these guys to pay attention to them on lower resolutions. I'm just going to get to this because I know somebody asked and I forgot to change over. You look at structure. Obviously there's some leading sectors that we talked about in industries. You look at weed's kind of languishing in the dumps. It's got to get to this level before he takes out a higher resolution high that generated his climax low. But structurally off the base as an essential good, he's been deemed an essential good, marijuana. He's holding his rising floor structures and getting a little bit better. This is a bit of a stop run here. He 2B'd that. No, he didn't 2B it. That actually held, so that's actually good. I just drew this like shit. And he's got a bull flag here. If he can get up and, let's see, probably, what level is he going to look good on? Probably north of, yeah, about there, 1840s, somewhere around that. Gets above that thingy. I think that looks good. Above there, he probably sets the stage to do a little bit more. I have to see what the rest of MJ looks like. I think this whole basket doesn't look so great. Yeah, he's a lot weaker. And we drew this one a couple shows ago, so let's see what he's doing since we drew this one in. See, these big old fat hand-drawn lines are not the worst. So you got that big old shockwave down there. You got floor, bottom floor, rising floor, last high, possible higher floor. We marked it down here. Could actually get all the way steep if he did. And we have this level that we marked right here, this line in the sand, and he's holding that level pretty good. What is that, 1264? So CGC doesn't look terrible. He could hold here. He could go lower and then turn up from there. But if you watch, the ETF and the stock in it and stuff like that, look for them both give you similar signs. Maybe you're trying to set up for a move right now. So probably worth keeping on your radar. Marijuana is an essential good and he's not going anywhere. So structurally, this thing doesn't look terrible. He looks like a lot of the social guys coming out of the trench. These really deep, bull flag structures down at the base of Armageddon. Not exactly like them. I mean, they all came down and they have, different structures coming down. But the on the way out move, even still looks something even similar to fucking RCL, doesn't it? They all kind of structurally look alike down there. They're all kind of corked and loaded for something with intense volume going off right in the trenches. Look at RCL's volume. It looks totally ridiculous. It's just staying like that. Looks like the volumizer we used to see in some of the Bitcoin exchanges. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's moving. Not everything's moving at the same time. Financials have an assload of earnings coming this week, so be on your toes if you're playing those guys. They're going to be doing some crazy shit backwards and forwards. we marked this guy. He hasn't gotten to this angle yet. There was some incredible strength on Friday in financials. A big squeeze happened in those dudes. Again, that can really suck you in. But wait till that there's real strength and a trend underneath these guys, and not just having like single pops in this ridiculous range of consolidation, because this will just shred you up. But yeah, pay attention to earnings this week. It'll be interesting to see who comes in where with reduced earnings guidance and stuff like that, and see who does what upside surprises or misses even worse and shows that things are worse than we thought. So keep your eyes on the birdie this week. If you're not in on anything, pay attention to the earnings calendar. Make sure you don't get caught by surprise in something that has earnings you didn't know was coming that will fuck you up. The SOX is the semiconductors. That's the same thing as looking at SMH. I did that earlier in the show. Nobody looks at the SOX anymore. What are you, 50 years old? Nobody ever asked about the SOX. This is basically the same thing. But if you're the SOX, Philadelphia Semiconductor, nobody even talks about that. But that's the original semiconductor index that people watch. It's the same thing. But yeah, nobody outside the 1990s cares about the SOX anymore. How does the trafficking speculation around Wayfair affect the current bull trend? Don't know enough about it to give you any meaningful insights. Housing prices going crazy here. Yep. Well, everyone thought they could finally get a cheap property because of Corona. That was the fucking the crowded trade, right? Thankfully, Corona's giving me a chance to buy one of these fucking houses that went up 5x here in fucking Orlando. Because Orlando was crazy. I was selling houses here. We were buying houses in block homes for like $7,000 and $8,000, and like below the cost of like 1978 when they were built. Like crazy things like that happened here when I was flipping real estate in 2009, 10, 11. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. Homes I sold, a friend of mine, David. Man, every house I sold, the guy was under like $40,000. They're all north of like 130 to 160 now. Crazy stuff. So everybody's like, yeah, I can't wait I get a chance to buy any one of these fucking houses that come off a cliff again. I heard that everywhere, and sure enough, the fucking housing market didn't fucking budge. All these millennials and people that are being, not even millennials, the Zoomers and stuff that are being forced into tiny homes. Tiny homes is a side effect of the fact that people's purchasing power has gone off a cliff. They just can't buy what they used to. And people are pretty much going to be renting their lives. The housing market isn't going to dump again to give a fucking sea of idiots who missed it the last time. And there's a greater amount of idiots, It's more people than 2009 that are in the marketplace to try and buy one of these things. There's even more demand on the sidelines to try and get a house if it ever came off a cliff again. It's just not doing it. The Fed has, put a liquidity backstop to the entire marketplace and stopped fucking basically 2008-9 happening again, with greater force than it came into the market then. And they're inflating every fucking risk asset on the planet to the fucking ceiling, houses, stocks alike. So if you don't own something, you're going to be paying payments for the rest of your life. That's really what is going to happen. The bulk of the population are going to be glorified renters. No one's going to own shit. You're just going to be leasing your space from somewhere. So if you don't own assets right now, they are going to get any cheaper. There's more people than ever on the planet that want a piece of them, and there's more money in the system than ever at the same time. That equals fucking prices go moon, Fed printer go burr, risk asset prices go moon. So as long as interest rates sit here like they are right now, your chances of buying cheap risk assets does not look good. Let's see. I think that's going to probably do it for me here. I got to go hop into another call. Home improvements and pizza go hand in hand? Yeah, I guess so. That actually makes more sense than you think. I got a fly in my pizza from Domino's, sold my stock the next day. Well, given where Domino's is right now, I'm going to guess that wasn't your best move. But yeah, it's shit pizza. As long as it sells, that's all you care about though, right now, how good it is. Short-term drop in the SPX, in my opinion. Okay. Short-term drop in the SPX, in your opinion, means what to anybody? Opinion's an opinion. Everybody has those. People have been calling for short-term drop for the last 10 years too. Don't get into getting caught up in your opinion. It means nothing. Price is all that matters. Probably can't go into this today. Agriculture and stuff like that. Try bring that question back to the next show. Scott's Miracle Grow. I think I saw a couple of you mention this guy over here. He has some tentacles into the weed market and stuff like that. Um, Structurally, that's a really high and tight bull flag. Doesn't look really terrible. Bring that up in the next show. We'll take a look at that. I think ECL's in that world too, right? Ecolabs. And he actually looks like a deeper version of the same thing. Might be worth looking into. I'll do a little bit more homework on that. I don't have enough to tell you anything really meaningful beyond the chart structures I see here. I've been following this guy, and he doesn't look too terrible, specialty chemicals. But the SMG chart doesn't look terrible. You're right. It looks pretty interesting. So I know a few of you asked me, so I'll do a little digging on that, and when I come back, I'll be a little bit better informed. I don't like to bullshit about things I don't know about, so I just don't do it. So I'll come back with more intel about agriculture, and we can talk about that in the next show. Food shortages, we already have that problem. That's been an ongoing problem, to be honest. Grandfather of Crypto TA, motherfucker, it's Godfather, not Grandfather. What the fuck? There is no cool dude with the name Grandfather in his fucking handle. Fuck's sakes. Guys are killing me. NBA now in Disney bubble, yeah, that's true. So the NBA is about to kick off here inside Disney, and Disney is a part of bringing back a new version of our old normal, I guess. Thoughts on Intel? We mentioned that in the last show. Watch the very last show. Intel, market cap was passed by Nvidia. You might have a changing of the guard there. Apple is fucking moving away from Intel, so that shines a bit of a light on AMD. There's definitely some interesting things happening with that. Intel losing its leadership spot inside of semis. But watch the last show. We talked about that on there, or the one before it. One of those two. I'm not going to make it to anything else here. Thanks for the bits there, QZ Dub. I am at 9:11, so 20 minutes till market opens. You folks will get yourself ready. Have yourself a good day. I'll be back here Wednesday morning, and we'll keep this train rolling, and hopefully we can have another kick-ass week. John from Sinister X, respect on the bits, homie. Thanks for that. And blocks again, 2 stacks. You guys are fucking flinging it. Hope you guys are kicking ass out there. Stay safe. If you had a killer week last week, remember, after your biggest fucking wins come your biggest losses. Don't let the euphoria make you dial back on any of your habits you used to have the week you had. Make sure you repeat all of the fundamentals that gave you that week again, and keep doing that. Don't worry about what you made. Just do all the mechanics you did before to replicate the feat. That's the only thing that matters in your career, is that you can do it more than once. Vicky Vale, what's up, girl? Respect, appreciate you. See, somebody just got banned. Always gotta be a jackass in there. Appreciate you, Henry. No grandfather. Don't call me that shit. That's a bannable offense. Godfather or banhammer. What's up, Tiki? Thanks for the bits, homie. God damn, how many messages you guys are? I'm just trying to get to the end so I can sign out. I don't know where these keep coming from. Jezebel, what's up? Bad Bitches Club in the building. What up, Economics? Cool, man. Glad you guys dig it. Good work, everybody in the channels on crushing Link, on crushing Tesla, on crushing Apple, on Microsoft, and all the different plays you guys hit. That's what we like to see. We like to have a community of people that win all around us. Surround yourself with winners rather than the norm, which is being surrounded by tons of losers. It'll change your ecosystem. Most people sit around with everybody hating on what they do. We try to create an ecosystem where everybody can actually be supportive of winning together rather than that typical bullshit. Everything about our environment is to be different than what people normally live in. Looking over your shoulder at the next guy and hoping he does worse so you feel better about yourself is pretty pathetic. So we try to steer away from that and enjoy each other winning and see if we can win some more. To change that fundamental, it changed a lot about your life. Starts with the little things, you know what I mean? For sure, boys and girls. I'll see you guys on the next one. So thanks for coming out. This is The Real Nomics, Voice of Reasons. Till next time, peeps.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.